Dear students, we are going to start a new chapter. The chapter name is light. In your 10th standard, light is one of the most important topic and probably it is one of the most interesting topics to study in physics also. It is impossible to enjoy our daily life without light, right? Simply we can realize the importance of light when we are in dark. In this chapter, we are going to learn about ray optics and also to solve practical numerical problem by using some formulas. If you want to understand about light thoroughly, you can classify light as ray optics and wave optics. That is light, has one is ray optics and another one is wave optics. In our 10th class we understand light as rays. Only in 12th standard you will be introduced to wave behaviors of light because light has a dual nature, behaves as particle as well as wave. Ray optics describe that light behaves as particle. Particle in the sense you may consider like a cricket ball, right? And the particle will propagate in a straight line. Propagation means movement or travel. It is a physics term. Propagation, right? That is movement or travel. This property is called rectilinear propagation. Property is called rectilinear. Rectilinear means straight, pakka straight. Rectilinear propagation. We are going to understand about rectilinear propagation of light fully in ray optics. Clear? I will continue in next sheet. Rectilinear propagation means light travels in a straight line. And one of the important properties of light is light doesn't require any material medium to propagate. It means it can travel through vacuum also. Clear? In your lower classes, you might have studied about rectilinear propagation of light. Even though here, once again we will recall. A path of the light in a straight line changes only when the medium changes or it is obstructed by an obstacle. The rectilinear propagation of light can be proved experimentally. This is the experiment. I hope you all knew. So consider a simple experiment. Take 3 wooden cardboards named as P, Q, R like that. Make a small hole at the same height from the base on each of P, Q and R such that the holes are in a straight line. Clear? Place a lighted candle towards the right side of the cardboard R. Look through the hole through the cardboard of P. The candle flame is clearly visible, right? If one of the cardboard is moved, definitely we could not see this candle flame. Clear? Proving that light has rectilinear propagation. This straight line is called ray. This straight line is called ray. And the bundle of rays is called beam. This bundle of rays is called beam. Okay. There are 3 types of beams. These are called parallel beams, and these are called converging beams. Converging beams. Okay, and the third one is called diverging beams. These are called diverging beams. There are only 3 types of beams, right? Students, without arrow marks, we cannot draw a ray diagram. Arrow mark indicates the direction, clear? Without direction, we cannot say either it is converging or diverging beam. Okay, let's see through an example. I will continue in the next sheet. Imagine in our classroom, I put a straight line. Classroom board, I put a straight line like this. After a few seconds, if a boy is coming to our class, right? If I asked him to define its direction, definitely he could not identify the direction, right? If I put the arrow mark, surely he can identify the direction, from which direction to which direction, right? So without arrow mark, we cannot say in which direction your beam of light travels. So once you draw a ray diagram, arrow mark is very, very important. Then only we can identify the direction. Clear? In our daily life, we can see so many objects, human beings and animals, etc. Clear? Just think a minute, through which phenomena you can see those things. Some of you may get the answer. Yes, of course. Due to reflection only, we can see other things. In dark, there is no source of light to get reflection. So, we cannot see any objects in dark. See this example. When you are reading a book, how do you actually see the book? Definitely, this is ray, right? This is a ray. Here, one small arrow mark is there. If you listen carefully, you can understand. So for your convenience, I am going to put one more arrow mark. So a light should come from a source of light. From the source of light, it strikes the book and it reflects into your eye. Clear? So within this dash, we can write reflection and reflect into your eye. What other objects are seen by? That is also by reflection. If you want to see this apple, definitely you need a source of light, right? So this will be your source of light. This light should fall onto this apple and the reflected light will go to a retina. Clear? So we cannot see any objects in dark because in dark we don't have any source, right? Now we are going to study about the very first and basic property of light is nothing but reflection. I will continue the next sheet. Imagine this is a well polished surface. This is a well polished and plain surface. A ray from the source is called incident ray. This is called incident ray. The light will reflect like this. Why? Because already I said light behaves like a particle in ray optics, right? I will make you to understand with some domestic example. Suppose I am throwing a cricket ball on this table. So imagine this is a table, right? I am throwing a cricket ball on this table. The table is a plane surface, right? What will happen? The ball bounces in this direction. Clear? If you drop a ball on this floor, if you drop a ball with respect to the floor, the angle is 90. What will happen? Definitely the ball will bounce back along this direction only, right? It will retrace the original path in opposite direction. So if you throw a cricket ball with some angle, definitely the cricket ball will bounce in this direction. Hope you understand what I am saying. In the same way, we can understand the behavior of light. I hope you all are familiar with the basic concepts like rectilinear propagation, types of beam, reflection, etc. Here we are going to study about the law of reflection. The first law, that is the angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. From this diagram you can understand this is angle of incidence. Angle of incidence, and this is angle of refraction. You know, this is the light from our source is called the incident ray, and this is reflected ray. Okay, you may think, why should I draw a normal line? We are going to calculate the angle of incidence with respect to normal line only. Keep one important thing in your mind. While you are dealing with ray optics and also wave optics, if the line is not real, that is the light ray is not real, which means the line is imaginary, you have to mention it through dotted lines, not a solid line. Suppose this is original light, that is original ray which is coming from the source of light. So I put it in a solid line. So this is normal line, that is we only consider for our convenience to calculate the angle of incidence. Clear? So with respect to this normal line only, we are going to calculate the angle of incidence. Okay, so this is your reflected ray. Arrow mark is very important. Keep it in your mind. Without arrow mark you should not draw a ray optics diagram. This is angle of reflection, right, with respect to normal only. Clear? So, and one more thing, this angle is 90, right? This angle is 90. Angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. If angle of incidence is 30 degree mean, definitely angle of reflection is also 30 degree. So it's just an example, right? So this is 30 mean, what will be the value of this angle? 60. So definitely this should also 60. This angle is called a glancing angle. Okay. Then second law, the incident ray and the normal to the mirror at the point of incidence and the reflected ray all lie in the same plane. Simply we can understand, this is our mirror, right? This I am going to draw the same diagram again. This is the mirror, this is the incident ray, and this is our normal line, this is our reflected ray. Listen the second law once. The incident ray, right, and the normal to the mirror. This line should be normal to the plane of the surface, that is our mirror, at the point of incidence. That is, at the point of incidence means the incident ray and the normal line at the point of incidence, this point, they indicate this point, and the reflected ray all lie in the same plane at the same point. That is very, very important. So this is incident ray, this is our normal, and this is our reflected ray. These three lines are in the same plane but not in same point. So we cannot consider this diagram for loss of reflection, right? So what is the important condition? The incident line, the normal line, and the reflected ray all lie in the same plane at the same point. Sorry for the inconvenience here, by mistake I put solid line. Normal line should be in a dotted lines because it is an imaginary line, right? And one more important thing is, irregular surface doesn't obey laws of reflection. Suppose your surface is like this, your surface is like this, means this is our incident ray. We could not predict in which direction the reflect line will travel. Okay, it may go in this direction or it can travel in this direction, like that. As for the irregular surface, the angle of incidence will not be equal to angle of reflection. Suppose you consider one more line. This is our angle of incidence. So this is our normal ray. So this will be our angle of reflection. So here the angle of incidence I is not equal to the angle of reflection R. So we conclude that irregular surface doesn't obey laws of reflection.